Good morning. 5 years ago this month, I decided to come out with my book, Abuse Hidden Behind the Badge. I changed the names of the true identity of my abusers, but I refused to keep in silence in who my abuser was. My husband of 20 years, 16 years together, who happened to be chief inspector for the Philadelphia, I protected him and the abuse I sustained. I was so ashamed and embarrassed to even tell my parents. My mother knew something was going on, but I would not tell her. Imagine, them saying to you, no one's going to listen to you, especially my ex-husband Keith. They all think you're crazy. It's hard on many survivors like myself. You would rather blame us and guilt us and shame us because we kept in silence. I did get a protection order, but I also dropped it because I wanted to keep a roof over my and my daughter's head. He was the main breadwinner in our family. This is what I did in order to try to keep a roof over our head. This is my divorce decree. I want you to see. We have been divorced since 2004, and I ran. And for 10 years of my life, I hid. I hid away, afraid of my own shadow because of what happened to me. Because no one would really listen to what was taking place. Many knew. After Abuse Hidden Behind the Badge was released, I had many police officers approaching me and telling me that they remembered. I even had a woman, a lovely woman, many years ago when the book was released, that they knew, Women Against Abuse knew, but it was told to them not to help me because of who my ex-husband is. Keith had that power. Many police officers who are high-ranking or even as an officer know that they have that power, know that the court system will believe them first before they believed us. So by me running away from Philadelphia, I first ran to Bensalem, then I came back to Philadelphia, and I got cornered by his now wife, Denise, in a diner. I had no idea who she was because my abuser, Keith Sadler, calls me retinal detachment from the right eye. Everyone looks at me and said, oh, nothing's wrong with her, but I have medical records here from Will's eye showing the retinal detachment that was caused to me. So I'm running and hiding. And then I met, 3 years after my husband, Keith Sadler, left, I ran to Lancaster. I met a Pennsylvania state trooper. No, I did not live with him. I had my own apartment. But I never got the help that I should have gotten. And this trooper knew it. Anthony E. Suber from Lancaster dragged me with his state police car and left me in the middle of the road, bleeding and begging for help. I did everything I was supposed to do, from getting a protection order. I want you to read, I want you to see, from abuse. You got to excuse me because this is very, very frustrating for me. And the judge gave me my order. It was a temporary order. But then he removed it. He removed the order. So that left me unsafe. There was no protection. I didn't have any order because the judge ruled that the order was dismissed. So I'm sitting here and I am baffled how you continue to ignore us. I went through the court system. I did everything I was supposed to do under the law, under the rule of the law in Pennsylvania. My case went to federal court in Trenton, PA. The federal judge ruled that Anthony Suber was liable for my injuries, but they pushed it back to Lancaster. And what even baffles me more is that they made my ex-husband, Keith Sadler, chief of police in Lancaster. Many of you look at him as this prestigious cop. He has ED behind his name. He's received many awards, but you call me a liar. You look at my eyes and you say, oh, there's nothing wrong with her. But that's a lie. I am now visually impaired because of the damage Keith and Anthony caused me. But you still call me a liar. Even the mayor of Lancaster asked, why was I not vetted? I'm not trying to be your chief. I'm not trying to be anything in your county. I just wanted accountability. So I waited for 9 years to go to trial against the trooper. And an all-white jury in Lancaster, where the case was pushed back, found that he was not liable for the injuries that he caused me. Am I surprised? No. Diane Wettendorf, who is an activist at one time, advocate for a police officer involved in domestic violence, told me back in 2007 that they were not going to find this police officer, this state trooper, liable for what he did to me. Keith was not found liable. Many of your things, oh, you need to keep silent. That's the problem. Our silence almost cost us our lives. It damaged me. No one can tell me that we are not damaged. Many of us suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, arthritis, and I can name a few others, but it's just too much. So you would rather, like Tamara, we reach out to the commanders. We begged for help, but you ignored us. So with all the documents that I have, all the proof that I had, it didn't matter. Here are pictures. Pictures. Let me share pictures with you because you keep calling me a liar. Here's pictures of my injuries. Pictures. Here are more pictures. Here are more pictures. Here's me with my abuser, Keith Sadler. But you would rather call us liars. I don't have pictures of Anthony Suber. He retired. You don't know where he's at. He's disappeared, but he still resides in Lancaster. Do we believe and trust the legal system? No. You failed us. But we are reaching out to our government, begging that you would hear the voices of those whose cries have went on deaf ears, like Tamara Seidel. You ignored her. His commanders ignored her. In her divorce decree, she mentioned time and time again the abuse that she sustained, but you ignored her. And you watched as she was killed in front of all these police officers, and you did nothing. Clara Colon Nye and many more have been speaking out about this. Lynn Graves, Shireen O'Brien, so many. Cloud Rider from Behind the Blue Wall, and I won't give her real name because she goes behind the blue wall, has been speaking on this. But I have attended court with many survivors, and I have watched firsthand how they are treated. I have watched how sheriffs stand around and watch as these abusers attack their survivors inside the court system, when there are sheriffs with guns on their hips and police officers, and you do nothing. You have done nothing. So those who want to question my truthness about what I have said and what I have went through, I have nothing to hide. No one is perfect in this world. And I am not perfect. I have so many flaws. I have been criticized for my writing, but it's me. I have flaws. I'm not perfect. I don't have an ED, MD, PhD behind my name. But one thing I am, and a survivor, and a voice So stop questioning me and start helping me. Help us. Stop ignoring us. So if I mention Kefar Sadler, he was my husband of 20 years. Anthony E. Suber, he's someone I dated shortly, and he was a narcissistic, abusive cop, just like Keith. So don't look at them because of his title. Don't look at them because they have all this education behind them. Look at the truth. Retinal detachment did not happen to me because someone blew in my eye. Retinal detachment happened because of the abuse that I suffered. And here, I went through women in transition. We received many certificates for going through women. And the name is Sadler. It's not Torres. Torres is my maiden name. So here, I am begging our government. I've done interviews. I received citations not only from Pennsylvania, but also New Jersey. I have received awards for women of color for the work that I do as an activist, not an advocate, but an activist, because I refuse to be silenced. So if you choose to come at me and sue me for revealing your true identity, come on, do it. But I have documents, and I have legal documents, medical documents to show what had happened to me many years ago. So if you cops out there choose to attack me because I'm speaking out, bring it on. There's no more you can do to me than already's been done. I want to thank those who care to listen. But if you don't feel like listening and you're tired of us complaining or venting, well, I have someone a lot powerful than all of you put together. The Almighty God, because He is the reason why I am still here. I've been attacked even by family members, but I am still here and you can't stop me. If you try to silence me, there are others that would be in my place to continue the journey and the fight against domestic violence and police officer involved in domestic violence. Thank you and have a good day. Be blessed.